What's going on, everybody? It's the Bull Show, aka Aidan, and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, today there's been a lot of rumors going around that the Chicago Bulls free agency business may very well be done in relation to the signings that we may have got in free agency. Now, first things first, we've got to say it's a rumor, nothing official, nothing coming out from anybody reliable, but in terms of what we've done over the last couple of days, we've not really done much. Today I'm going to be discussing if this is the end of our free agency period, pretty much. If we do nothing else, was this a successful free agency period? Because last video I talked about how I feel about this free agency period so far and how I feel now, seeing some of these rumors. If it is really over for the Chicago Bulls, I've got to say I'm not going to be happy at all. But we got to give respect. It is just a rumor. It's nothing official, and I'm not really going to target the Chicago Bulls at this point in time about this. But before we get started, please like and subscribe to the Bull Show. Turn notifications on and let me know in the comments below your thoughts about whether or not you think this was a successful free agency period if it ends at this point in time. If the Bulls make no more business that the rest of free agency, is this I guess successful in relation to free agency? So obviously we've talked about the three signings a lot already. Drummond, Derrick Jones Jr., Zach LaVine, the three signings we did in free agency, all of that we've talked about in depth, talked about the positives, talked about the negatives, talked about the mixed bag and how I feel about it. But right now with the Chicago Bulls team, we still have one roster spot remaining that can be used in free agency. We have a couple of options that can be seen as decent shooters, or at least help in the fact to improve the Chicago Bulls perimeter, I guess, game. And we have some money to actually do that as well. The fun fact is that the Derrick Jones Jr. signing did not use our MLE, did not use our mid-level exception. So we still have the money capable to go and make a signing in free agency. We could probably still get some of these players that are still available that can shoot the basketball. But with all that being said, who is to blame if the Chicago Bulls end this free agency period here? What's going to happen? Who's at fault? You could say the owners are partly at fault because they didn't want to go into luxury tax, and because of that we couldn't get our best targets and some other assets to help the Chicago Bulls team. But the fact that we still have some money on the table and we're not going to use that money if these rumors are true and we end free agency here with just one signing, I'm going to partly blame the Bulls front office as well. Because at the end of the day, with everything being said, if we were just going to make one real signing using the MLE and we didn't use all of it, we could have went after the targets that we wanted from the center position, which was, again, listing the names, the Mo Bambas, the Isaiah Hartensteins, the Mitchell Robinsons, the Nicholas Claxtons, whatever the target was, we could have went after that player and we probably could have given them the contract that we wanted. I think the most frustrating part of this free agency period was seeing our top targets go for affordable prices for the Chicago Bulls team, and we went with a cheaper option in relation to Andre Drummond. Now that would have made sense if we went and pursued other players as well. If we went and pursued a shooter or two players or whatever the case may be. We brought back Derrick Jones Jr. that doesn't do any harm towards the Chicago Bulls. Obviously bringing back Zach LaVine, we all knew that that was going to be something that was going to happen anyway. So with one spot left on the roster, one two-way spot as well. Let's just remind that as well. We've got one two-way contract spot. We've got one roster spot remaining on the Chicago Bulls team. So basically two spots there. And we have money to go and sign someone. I'm going to be very frustrated if we don't actually get another player in, because it makes no sense to me as to why we shouldn't be able to do that. It's extremely frustrating to know that our top signings left very, very quickly in free agency, with us just sitting there on the wayside watching it all happen, and we only go after one player. I get if we wanted Danilo Gallinari and we're willing to throw all the money that we had at him, and at the end of the day we didn't get our player. But that doesn't mean there are not players out there for the Chicago Bulls that can still make an impact, can make a contribution. Someone that has some points to prove as well. A lot of these guys that are waiting at the end of free agency or at the bottom of the barrel of free agency, most of them will have points to prove in relation to their team that they signed for. Again, I just feel it's it's naive to say that the Chicago Bulls are done. Rumors are rumors, as I said before. I only saw it from a couple of places. But if it is done, I think this is turned from a mixed bag to extremely disappointing. We need another signing in this team, ladies and gentlemen. We've not done too much to this bench. I remember at the end of the season, we were talking about a bench overhaul. The starting lineup, if you want to keep it the same and make a run back, they've got another year to prove themselves. But the bench was never good enough. And the depth that we thought that we had, in my opinion, just didn't end up being the way that it was. Whether it's poor performances or people just simply didn't live up to the task, whatever the case may be, I thought we needed to improve this bench at least. Andre Drummond, of course, improves this bench, but we need more, and I think we can get more, even until now with the back end of the signings in free agency. I still think there's a move for us to make. So, for the benefit of everybody that is watching this video, I really do think the Chicago Bulls will make another signing. I don't think our free agency ends now, but if it did end, that's the frustrating part. That's my frustration, and that's the blame that I have towards not just the ownership, but also the front office if this is the end of our free agency. I know it's an unpopular opinion to attack our front office, and I'm not doing that until free agency is going to be over, because we don't know what the Bulls have in store. AK works in silence. There are a lot of moves that could be done that we simply don't know about as of yet. I'm not blaming the front office. I'm not saying that they are partly to blame or anything like that right now. But if we end this free agency period with some of the MLE still remaining and only one realistic or one new player coming into the Chicago Bulls team, that is something that's going to be up for question. Now, ultimately, it's not the end. Even if it is the free agency, if it's the end of free agency, it doesn't mean that we're not going to get a player down the line for our MLE and the 15th man on the rotation. It doesn't mean we're not going to solve our two-way contract spot either. We're going to have summer league, training camp, preseason. We're going to have until a certain time limit to go and fix those areas. Just because free agency is over doesn't mean that our business will be over. But with all that being said, this is the time to really go and make your moves so everybody can be there at training camp. Everybody can have something to prove and stuff of that nature. We'll just have to wait and see. Ultimately, it is what it is. I still do trust Arturis. I trust Eversley. I trust the Bulls management to make the best out of what they're given. But I really do hope. There are so many plays still here, in my opinion. I would still give a chance to TJ Warren on the 15th man of the rotation. You can't go wrong with someone that might not be healthy, might be healthy, but at the end of the day, beggars can't be choosers at this point. I would still give a chance to TJ Warren, because if he is healthy, he's a 15-point per game player. Coming off of our bench, that could be huge. And you still got other guys that could just shoot the three, and they've not really been given a look. So I hope we make a signing, and we'll just wait and see what the outcome will be. I'm just here to kind of vent out my frustrations at this point, and hope that these rumors that have come out, the people that are speculating that our business might be done, I really hope it's not true, but time will tell at the end of the day. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're new. Again, this might be an unpopular video or an unpopular decision that I've made to say that, look, if this is the end of our free agency, you've got to put some sort of blame on the front office. I know it's going to be an unpopular decision because we want to praise our front office. It's completely different and way better than our previous regime. Don't get me wrong. But when things don't go our way in certain events, sometimes you got to take blame at everybody. Everybody deserves a little bit of blame here and there. Nobody is perfect. Nobody can do their job perfectly. It is what it is. There are 30 other teams in the NBA. Not everybody's perfect. So again, there will be some criticism, in my opinion, that goes their way, but it's not over yet. So let's just wait and see what we can do for the rest of free agency. I sincerely hope as soon as this video comes out, we make a signing and we can just leave it at that. And that's our business done. We just got one roster spot left. Whether we do a trade or not doesn't really matter to me. We'll wait and see if we can do that. But we still got one roster spot left that can be filled, and I hope we can do it. Take care.